Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for nice MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. They're so perky. I love that.
Live from Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. Today, we're rolling out the red carpet for the guy who's sharing how inflation affects you on a very real basis through your stomach. It's Len Penzo. In our headlines, last week the USA had its debt downgraded. How does that affect your money? We'll share. Plus, we'll throw out the Haven Lifeline to a lucky stacker looking for help, and then I'll share some particularly sudsy trivia. And now, two guys who are ready to shake up the financial world by fighting over baloney sandwiches. It's Joe and O-G.
I'm so sad because it's been so long since I've had a bologna sandwich. OG, have you had a bologna sandwich anytime in the past decade?
No, but I saw a meme the other day that was like 2 pieces of white bread with a thing of bologna in it and a slice of American cheese. You know, it was just like the cross section of the sandwich, and it said something like, "The roof of my mouth is already stuck," or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that too recently. Actually,
just looking at it.
I think Gertrude might have posted that.
Maybe that's where I saw it. Maybe that's where I saw it.
I saw a pretty funny one that just similar. It was a graham cracker and a marshmallow at a swingers party, and there's a little bar of chocolate on the other sofa, and they're like, "We have a proposition for you."
Time for a three-way.
I thought that was spectacular.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Food Jokes for the Win podcast. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter, and the guy helping me narrate one of our most popular episodes every year, the Len Penzo Sandwich Survey episode, is Mr. OG. How are you, man?
I love me some sandwiches.
Yes.
Sandwich.
Len Penzo every year shows us how inflation truly hits your wallet, and it's always quirky. It's always fun, just like Mr. Penzo himself. And so we're excited about that. But first, a little more sad headline. But even before that, OG, what is your favorite thing to put on a sandwich?
That's a good question. Probably.
In business, there is no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. And when you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on, because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else, your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage. We mean business.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start the ad there. What were you saying?
Let me think. Definitely it's going to be.
I had a breakfast mentoring meeting yesterday with a young woman who was just amazing. She is graduating from college with a degree in wealth management, and she reached out hoping for some pointers. And listen, if somebody's in Texarkana and wants to go into this beautiful field of personal finance and helping people get their money together, that is incredible. But even more incredible is how she reached out, how she was trying to network. And I was having a discussion that finding the right person and avoiding the wrong person for a role, that's what can make or break an organization. And we just don't see that many qualified people. So how do you find them? Well, Indeed sponsored jobs is a boost whenever you need to find quality talent. If you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. You can stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. You'll match with quality candidates with Indeed's sponsored jobs. Get matched with and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Reach candidates who meet your specific criteria like skills, certifications, or location. It drives me crazy when I'm matched with all kinds of people who aren't a fit. I don't have that kind of time. People are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 95% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all the boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored job. And here's what's cool, stackers. You're going to get $75 in sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support Stacking Benjamins by saying you heard about Indeed right here at Stacking Benjamins. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to have the ad right over that. Man, that's gross. How do you do that on a sandwich?
$20 is $20.
It's amazing. Oh, Gia's here. Doug's here. We got Len Penzo upstairs talking to Mom right now. So let's get you headline.
Hello, darlings. And now it's time for your favorite part of the show, our Stacking Benjamins headlines.
Our headline today comes to us from Market Watch and, frankly, just about everywhere else. This is written by Vivian Liu Chen. How Fitch downgrade might impact Treasury's $1 trillion third quarter borrowing plans. Vivian writes, Fitch Ratings' decision last week to cut U.S. government's top AAA rating ahead of the quarterly refunding statement from the Treasury has left investors, analysts, and officials weighing the likely impact on the agency's $1 trillion third quarter borrowing plans. I don't want to get into an economic / what ends up always being a political discussion on the state of the debt and our Congress's inability to create a balanced budget. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about our own budget, OG. So the first thing is, why does the downgrade? A lot of people don't understand this, and I just want to define it for people, why this was such a headline last week. Why does a downgrade actually affect their plans at the Treasury?
Well, it's very similar to what happens if your credit score goes down, right? Like if all of a sudden you need to borrow money and your credit score isn't now what it once was, then it's going to cost you more to borrow that money. And that's going to affect your personal cash flow and balance sheet and all that other sort of stuff, because now more of your payment goes to interest, less goes to principal. You know, the payment could be higher. There's a lot of different kind of downstream effects of that. And because it's the government, they borrow money all the time. Like every day, as a matter of fact, or every week. So if all of a sudden they're not as creditworthy as they once was, that interest rate is going to kind of nudge up a little bit, which is going to have, effects in terms of cash flow. You have to then, and since we're running at a deficit, it kind of sort of means that we sort of have to borrow more money to pay more money. It's weird.
I found when I talk to people about their money, OG, the different feelings have different people. Different feelings have different people. Different people have different feelings, maybe a little bit of both, about their debt load and about the interest rate they pay. So some people, I feel like, think, having some debt at 18, 20, 22% is absolutely normal. And yet the amount of extra money they have to pay, even if, let's say, they have $5,000 of credit card debt, right? the amount of extra money they pay, I mean, that can very quickly end up to being a lot of stuff you can't do, almost like, we're having this discussion on the government's rating.
I've been completely debt-free one time in my adult life, and that was after we moved to Texas. We rented an apartment for a couple of years, or just over a year, actually. Didn't have a mortgage payment, didn't have a car payment, didn't have any credit card bills. And it was mind-boggling to me how much money actually goes out just in interest payments. And even if from a standpoint of the affordability, right, you can say, well, I can afford the 25% of my gross income being on my house payment, or I can afford this car payment or whatever. The cash flow that just vaporizes from your, it's really, unless you've ever been on the other side of it, it's so like built into our cultural norms of, well, you always have a house payment. You always have a car payment.
We just get attuned to it.
I got my car paid off. It's old. I need a new one. So I'm going to go get another car payment. And so we're just so accustomed to that, or, so what? I got to carry over some credit card balances month to month. Who cares? Like I got to keep the gravy train going. But when you eliminate that stuff, it frees up opportunity for all sorts of other things. I mean, just look at how much money you paid interest to the bank. It's mind-boggling.
When we moved back to Texarkana, took out a mortgage on the house, didn't nail the timing. So my interest rate is 3.25%. So I didn't hit it right at the bottom, but baby, we got very close.
Pretty close, right?
But I still, OG, to your point, one of my favorite things to do is to look every month at how much of that payment I'm about to pay is going to go to interest.
That's your favorite thing to do?
It is my favorite because it makes me angry, and it makes me always put more money toward it. And for people going, wait a minute, that's not a great mathematical equation.
Anger is a great motivator.
Yeah.
We're the same way. Ours is at 2.5% at 15 years. So we are making some pretty good progress along the way. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to have purchased a condo for my mom. And we did not nail the interest rate on that timing. That was a solid 6 1/3 interest rate. And 2 months into it, it was kind of the same deal. It was like, oh, your payment's $1,500. 115 of those dollars are principal. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. Like, I have to figure out a way to make it so that at least I'm making as much progress as the bank. That's how I look at it. It's like the bank's getting some love. I get it. That's their risk. And, that's their business for hooking me up with a $200,000 loan. But I don't want them to do any better than me. So
right.
I'm like, whatever their interest is, I got to pay in principal. So I try to do that. I'm not successful every month, but that's a major goal of ours.
Yeah. I love watching every time I make a payment, looking at the month before what the interest was, and then what the interest is this month, every month, trying to bring that number down as fast as I can. So I get off the banks. I don't become part of, their cash machine. I don't want to be on the bank's cash machine. Speaking of that, though, let's talk about people that have big debt, because I'm sure, OG, you've recommended to people to roll their debt together into maybe a new mortgage or a home equity loan or whatever to get those payments lower. In the past, you could get tax deductibility, not the case for a lot of people anymore. However, where do you stand now on if somebody's listening to this and they've got a bunch of debt at higher rates, even higher than mortgages are now, changing their mortgage so that they get a lower interest rate in aggregate than they had on their debt in the past?
Well, if anybody's bought a house in the last, I don't know, let's say 5 years, you're probably stuck with that mortgage, right? In fact, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago that I read that there's a rise of seller financed properties in terms of selling land contract type deals, because it's like, I want to buy this house, but the interest rate's so high, I can't pull it off. And the current owner doesn't necessarily want to give up the property so we can lease it, we can land contract it out, and I'm giving you a good deal, and I'm getting a good deal in terms of cash flow because of the high interest. So we're seeing a rise in those as interest rates have become a lot higher. But if you've got a reasonable mortgage, I don't know that I like the idea of refinancing the house to roll everything together. You're kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater there. I would see if there's an opportunity to, maybe do a home equity line of credit, which, if you're going to try to consolidate stuff, that's still going to be a better rate than consumer debt. And the reality is that you just have to pay it off. If you pay the same payment that you're paying now, even with a better interest rate, it's still going to take forever to pay off. So you have to make an aggressive plan to pay off your debt, regardless of what the interest rate is. That's the icing on the cake is, all right, let's see if we can drive this interest rate down a little bit. But what happens all too often is that interest rate gets lowered, the payment gets lowered, and then we pay that lower payment, and then the extra just kind of gets folded into cash flow, or God forbid, buys more debt with it. So you have to be really careful with consolidating debt, because you can consolidate it and then end up with more debt 3 years later.
Step one is always consolidate the debt. Step two is figure out how much money you saved and make that an automatic payment into some savings that is kind of hard to touch.
Well, saving or continue paying that larger payment on the debt to get it paid off faster.
Snowball it down. And also, by the way, make that automatic, make that extra payment automatic. Because if you tell yourself, I'm going to pay the difference, right? I'm going to pay this extra.
I promise.
Your brain will always come up with some reason why you need that money this month, and you'll just do it next month until you get to the point where it's folded into your lifestyle and you never do it. Yeah. We'll talk about debt strategies in tomorrow's 201. That's our newsletter where we take these discussions to the next level with a bunch of great curated links and ideas so that you can implement the stuff we talk about on the show. This isn't just about knowing what to do. It's about actually doing it. 201 helps you do that. stackingbenjamins.com/201. Our newsletter comes out twice a week, and it's always free. Coming up next, we're so excited. It's that time again. Len Penzo back a year later, and all we've talked about the last year's inflation. How much has it affected the average sandwich that you take to school, you take to work, that you have with mom in the kitchen like we do? We're about to find out. And one of those, the egg salad sandwich, OG, the price of eggs, been in the news for a long time. Are we going to see, was there a big bounce between this time last year and this time right now? We are about to find out. But before we get there, Doug, what do we got on tap for our trivia today?
Hey there, Stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. Absolutely nobody has brought up the elephant in the room, and that's that Len Penzo's coming down here with lots of sandwiches, and this place is a pig sty. Now, per the best practices document I just drew up, before a guest comes down to the basement, especially one bearing food, it is important to not only be ready with an empty stomach and a can-do attitude, you also need to achieve a clean, sterile workplace, which is why, in the spirit of this whole thing, I'm sharing some washing machine trivia. Here's the question. What's the most popular washing machine brand according to Statistica.com? I'll be back right after I go upstairs and inspect Len's sandwich choices so I know they taste good enough to bring down to the basement.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
Hey there, Stackers. I'm food inspector and turkey club connoisseur, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. We have big problems, Stackers, big problems. Apparently, Len left the sandwiches, and I quote, at home. What a tease. How are we supposed to independently verify the results of his study if we aren't trying out the ingredients? Looks like I gotta call Todd back at the Sizzler and beg for the corner table in the bar area as soon as we're done recording. And if I have my way, Len's picking up the tab. Well, I might as well follow through on today's trivia, get you an answer. Here was the question. What's the most popular washing machine brand in the USA, bringing in lots of Benjamins for the manufacturer? The answer? Whirlpool. Get it right? Hope so. Now we're going to spin cycle to our guest, the guy talking inflation and sandwiches, Len Penzo.
I can't believe a year's gone by since we did this last time. But you know what? With all the inflation we had this year, I got to say, I have been looking forward to, well, even without the inflation, I'm looking forward to it so much. Len Penzo's back. How are you, man?
I am phenomenal. And you know what? Before we get started, I saw something the other day that, made me think. And basically it said that the Earth, the Earth is like, what, 70% water?
Okay.
Right? It's the great majority of it's water. And almost 99.9% of that water is not carbonated, which actually means, if you think about it, that the Earth really is flat. You had to think about that one for a
Oh, no. I didn't have to think about it. I had to go, holy crap. This dude's a ninja. This guy is a ninja. You know, it's funny. I thought of you because we were in Minnesota. Of course, Cheryl wants to go to all the national parks. So we went to Duluth, which is beautiful. If you're in Duluth, next time we're there, we'll have a meetup. But we didn't do it this time. I just wanted to hang out, see the town. They have a beautiful train museum, number one. Just incredible train museum. And the best part of the train museum was they have all the china that they ate on in all the old railroads. And so when people took the railroads, and dude, the stuff, it was so beautiful. The Union Pacific stuff, the Santa Fe stuff, the Great Northern Rail stuff, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was very high class, high end stuff back then. Yeah, that was the only way to travel. Yeah.
But the reason I thought of that also because of this horrible joke you just told me was that we went to this old mansion and they have this shark they built because it's right on Lake Superior, and you can sit in these Adirondack chairs and it says, take your picture with the shark. The shark belongs to a club that meets there. And the purpose of the club is to keep Lake Superior shark free, which they've done successfully since inception of the club. No sharks at all in Lake Superior.
Interesting.
Thanks to this club.
I had no idea that there were even, are there sharks in Lake Michigan? Are there sharks in
No, they're all freshwater. So I thought that
you know
was
what though?
great.
There are sharks. You've seen the sharks that go upstream like 20, 30 miles. Sharks can handle fresh water. I mean,
they can.
So it's not out of the realm, I guess.
No, just apparently they don't like to live there. But anyway, everybody's like, when are you going to talk sandwiches? We are going to talk.
This is related. It's tuna. Tuna's part of this, one of the sandwiches.
It is. We are going to talk about, and there's some movement in the tuna universe.
Yes, there is.
We'll tell you that. But before we get to that, let's talk for our stackers who are brand new to this survey. How did this evolve? How did it begin? What was the genesis?
Well, a long time ago, we're 15. This is the 15th year I've done this survey, if you can believe that. I mean, that in itself, I can't believe when I started this, I would be still doing this 15 years later. But way back when my kids were smaller and they were getting into school, and I wanted to know, was the school lunch, was it cheap? Was it really cheaper to have them brown bag it every day, with the little bag of chips and the piece of fruit and the sandwich, or was it cheaper to go through the school lunch? And so I started the survey.
Because the school lunch doesn't seem that expensive.
It's not.
When you look at just one day.
Actually, it's really strange. School lunches, the cost is actually, when you adjust it for inflation, it's come down. And I don't know if that's because the government's been subsidizing it more and more, but it's been stuck at, the average price of a school lunch has been stuck at $3.50 for the past few years now. So,
wow.
Anyway, so that's why I started doing it. And of course, the first year I looked and it's like, oh my gosh, it was actually substantially cheaper, making your own lunch for your kids. So that answered the question. And then I figured, well, hey, I should make a blog post out of this. And I did. And then after a few years, it actually, CBS News in LA picked it up. And, then from there, I was like, well, I got to keep going now. There was, so I've been doing it ever since. And it has been fascinating every single year. It's been absolutely fascinating to see how it reflects the inflation in America.
It is. It's my favorite way to look at inflation. It's inflation that hits all of us right in the pocketbook. And the interesting thing, though, getting back to the school lunch or even the work lunch, because a lot of places, we had a cafe downstairs when I was with American Express, and I could either eat there or I could eat. But it's also generally healthy. A lot of times I'm going to make better decisions if I'm pre-packing my lunch. One of the first things my diet coach did was she said, pre-plan your meals when you're not hungry. so that A, you'll feel guilty if you don't eat them, and B, you're going to make smarter choices than on the fly. So I think there's a lot of health reasons to take your lunch as well, Len.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll be honest, some of those school lunches, you look at those school lunches and you're just like, I mean, supposedly they're supposed to be healthy, but boy, if you've seen pictures of them, they don't look appetizing, that's for sure.
I remember at the time I thought a lot of grease on that little pizza square was really good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those are great. I mean, I don't know about you. Well, you're almost as old as me, not quite, but I mean, I'm old enough where we had moms baking the homemade pizzas every Friday in the school cafeteria.
Yeah.
They were making them for the kid, and they were so good.
Ours was this big square thing, and it was about a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it was really thin crust.
Same. Yeah.
And just greasy as all get out, which, by the way, was magnified in college when I was hungover, or it was 3 a.m. Like, greasy pizza was good. Now I look at that and I'm like, I ate that? I can't believe I ate that. All right. There are lots of sandwiches here on the list. Tell us what sandwiches make up the survey.
Okay, so the sandwiches in the survey, I guess for suspense purposes, I'll put them in no particular order. We have American cheese, we have turkey and Swiss, egg salad, ham and Swiss, roast beef and cheddar. Did I say salami? Tuna salad. Salami. Yeah, the world famous BLT, and of course the tried and true bologna and PB&Js. So that's 10 sandwiches in all.
I'm not sure if you said it, but the American cheese sandwich, which one of our commenters said, feeding your kid a cheese sandwich is borderline child abuse. So I don't know if anybody's ever.
So yes, you brought that up. You've brought that up before, and that's not the first person who said that. And what I always say is, you know what? There's nothing wrong. I love cheese sandwich,
grilled cheese.
Grill it. I mean, it doesn't change
cheese.
The sandwich. Grill the cheese. I mean, who doesn't love a grilled American cheese? Grilled cheese. It's the same sandwich. So just.
I had one yesterday. It was adult abuse. I adult abused myself yesterday by having one. It was horrible. I cried the whole time I ate it.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person, my grilled cheese, I got to have tomato on my grilled cheese. So, I mean, you can elevate it with a piece, a slice of tomato or two, and it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
We shouldn't do this while I'm hungry. So now you look at the individual ingredients of each of these sandwiches, and that's where we're going to start. Historically, the different ingredients on this list, we got peanut butter, strawberry jelly, American cheese, Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, salami, ham, bologna, bacon, roast beef, turkey, albacore tuna, large tomato, lettuce, large eggs, wheat bread, mustard, mayo. Do you go by the same brand every time to make sure that you get the inflation right? Is it whichever your eye catches first? How do you decide what to buy at the supermarket?
Well, so what I have always done from day one, the way it works is I take the very cheapest in terms of servings per container, whatever is available. So the brands, if one brand's on sale 1 year, it's the cheapest one. That's the one I go with. Because I'm figuring if you're shopping, you're going to be, you want to save money, you're going to naturally go with the lowest price, regardless of brand. There's no brand loyalty here. So it's the cheapest in terms of servings per container. And that, for the most part, it never changes. It's usually the store brand. Usually. On rare occasion, a national brand will outdo the store brand on a certain, but 90% of the time it's a store brand. And it's usually the largest container size too.
I need to start then, Len, with the elephant in the room, because you have eggs and all the jokes, all the memes we've seen the past year on eggs. Let's talk about the last year. What's happened with the price of eggs?
Well, here's the thing with eggs. Eggs, I have found over the years, it's really local. It's a local thing. I mean, I get emails from people when I do these surveys that say, well, gosh, you said the price of eggs, doubled this year. And where I live, they didn't, they've stayed pretty much level. Well, it's because the local egg farms, they're affected by, local issues, whether it's sick birds or whatever, the weather that makes them not lay as many eggs. I don't know, but it tends to be a very local thing. So again, all I can do is for the eggs is I just report what I have at my place. That's just how it is. This year, the price of eggs actually dropped in California, Southern California. Went down. The price of eggs actually went down 12%. So your mileage may vary if you're out there in, Raleigh, North Carolina or somewhere else. I don't know. I can't speak for Raleigh, North Carolina. But in Southern California, the price of eggs dropped 12% this year.
How about that? That was the most. Well, it's funny when you sent me the email ahead of time. That was where my eye went immediately because it's exactly what I wanted to know, and it was surprising. And I'm like, here we go. Yeah. There was another one, the biggest price drop of all, and you had a few price drops, which surprised me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients at a price drop, but one dropped substantially.
That would be salami, which just knocked my socks off. Now, when I started this survey, this is dry salami, by the way. When I started this survey 15 years ago, dry salami was very cheap. It was one of the cheapest meats on the survey, and the salami sandwich was generally right up there in the top 2 or 3 every year for the first 4 or 5 years. And then something happened, and the price of dry salami skyrocketed, and it stayed up there for probably 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And then lately, the past few years, the price is coming down again for dry salami. And this year is no different. The price of dry salami came down almost 60% this year.
Yeah. Do you remember if there was a sale? Was part of that a sale?
Well, I believe it was on sale, and it was a national brand dry salami, by the way. So I won't mention the name, but it was a national brand salami. And I don't know, but it was a shocker. And it really helped the salami sandwich move up in the rankings this year.
Next ones, you had 2 that went down 20%. Bologna went down 20%.
Yeah, which is, again, that's another shocker. Frankly, I really expected, Joe, I didn't expect to see this many prices actually fall from the previous year. I really did. That was the biggest shock to me, all these green on my chart here, all the green ones that indicate a price drop. Really a shock. And bologna was another one. I really thought that the price of that was going to go up, but it didn't. And I will say this. Bologna is historically, a lot of people think, well, it's expensive. It's if you price per pound, it's $15 a pound. Well, maybe so, but in terms of the economy, it's always been the most economical sandwich meat, or right up there. So just because the price per pound, it's expensive, it doesn't mean you can't make a lot of sandwiches out of it.
Yeah, there's been a fight on this end of the survey for a long time. Let's cut to the sandwiches for just a second, which we're going to come back to. And the fight has been between bologna and one other sandwich for the least expensive sandwich year after year. You're always wondering which one's going to be. And what's the other one that is always usually cheap?
It's the PB&J. So that's the eternal battle from year to year. It's like which one's going to come out on top or tie. And there's been several years where they've actually tied. But so those are the 2 generally. And it used to be, like I said, salami was in there too. Not quite as cheap, but it was right up there in the top 3 usually. And then it fell out for many years, and now that's salami's making a comeback.
It certainly is. So I immediately then, of course, if you tell me that bologna is one of the ones where the price drop, I'm looking for other green. And I see it up there at peanut butter. Peanut butter also down. And I'm like, we got to fight. But it's going to be a fight.
But not so fast, because peanut butter was gainsaid by what? By the strawberry jelly that went up. So peanut butter dropped 16%, but the jelly went up 25%.
Bang.
Yeah. So the suspense builds.
It absolutely. People sitting on the edge of their seat driving to work or
I know they can't
walk the dog. They're like, honey, you got to shut up. They're about to get to cheddar cheese. But let's talk about the cheeses, because it looks like in general, cheeses also went up in some cases substantially.
Cheese went up this year. The American and cheddar actually both went up more than Swiss. American went up 25%. Cheddar went up 36%, which is interesting because the previous couple of years, American and cheddar were very stable, their prices. Now, on the other hand, Swiss actually only went up 9% this year. However, the price of Swiss cheese over the past 3 years has just gone through the roof. And it's totally outpaced the price of cheddar and American cheeses going up. So
when you look at a longer time frame.
Yeah, when you look at the longer time frame, the price of Swiss has far outpaced the price of American and cheddar cheeses. I don't know why. Maybe there's a shortage of Swiss cheese in Switzerland. I don't know what's going on there, but yes. But
what's
this
going
year,
on in Switzerland?
But this year the Swiss actually had the lowest price of the 3 cheeses, the lowest price increase.
Can I say this? I don't have the other years in front of me that you and I have talked about it here, because you've been so nice to share this with us as it comes out on the Stacking Benjamin show. But I don't remember many years where the survey was this moody in general. It seems like in other years, Len, there have been a lot of single-digit changes. Yeah. And this year, up or down, everything except for Swiss cheese, which went up 9, to your point, and mayonnaise, which somehow stayed the same. Besides that, they're all double digits either way.
Yeah, it's really, it was a very interesting survey this year. I don't know, the volatility was off the charts, just totally off the charts.
Now, bread is an essential ingredient here, and the price of bread did not stay the same either. There was a big change there. Yeah,
the price of bread has reached its highest point since, I think it was 2018, 5 years ago. It's up to $1. The bread, it was went to $1.99. The price went up 34% this year, which was a huge move. It peaked, like I said, the high point of all time was 2018. I guess inflation adjusted, it was even, that's even higher. But since 2018, the price of bread had dropped. At one point, I think it got to 99 cents. But now we're back up. Yeah, now we're back up to double that. It wasn't 99 cents last year, but it went from $1.99 down to 99, and now it's worked its way back up to $1.99 for a loaf of wheat bread.
Before this year, Len, have you had the price of anything in a single year double?
Yes.
Before this year?
Yes, it's rare, but it's happened. And in this survey, it happened,
twice.
It happened twice. There was 2 items where, one item, it went up, what did it went up? 3.5? Yeah, 3, which actually that's 4.5 times. Yeah. Went up 4.5. Just out. Yeah. Should we talk about that one?
Yeah. Well, let's start with we got to leave more suspense. Let's start with the one that doubled first, because this was a surprise.
Okay. So the price of the tomato, which it actually doubled from last year. I don't know if that's a local issue or not. I mean, California is the breadbasket of fruits and vegetables for America. So I assume if the price went up, doubled here, it probably doubled all across America as well. So, but yeah, that was a big ouch at least for the BLT lovers.
I remember growing up, tomatoes were something that my family really liked growing, and that number makes me want to go out and start growing my tomatoes again. That's something that pays, and nothing tastes better on any sandwich than a tomato.
Oh yeah, I grow them at home. Well, I stopped a couple of years ago because the squirrels were eating all of them, so they were getting more of them than I was. But I should start up again, especially after seeing that this doubling of the price. Yes.
I got enough trouble keeping the squirrels out of my bird feeder. And by the way, a friend of mine told me about this a mix for birds that's like a hot mix. And apparently squirrels do not like the hot, right? And it burns them, so they don't eat it. And the birds don't have that hot meter. So if you put this hot mix in, so I did it. The first bag goes great. And oh my God, Len, we had so many birds, no squirrels. It was amazing. The second bag I got, about halfway through, the squirrels and
right. They are so clever. And I got to say, the honeybee, she has a particular squirrel. She's even named it Rita, and she puts the food out for it every day now. She's got a little mini squirrel picnic table and she puts all the goodies in there. And it is pretty fun. We get to experiment with what they like. Rita likes, she loves, of course, avocado she loves. And we just recently found she likes sourdough toast. She just absolutely loves sourdough toast. So you're
making your squirrel gourmet lunches with the animals around the Penzo house get gourmet food. We just found out that the squirrel loves avocado toast. It's the most amazing thing. The squirrel loves peanut butter, but only on rye.
She's cute. She's worth it.
That's fabulous. Yeah, it was funny. I looked out the window one day after I'd filled the bird feeder, and what the squirrel does is that I fill this bird feeder, of course, has only little tiny holes, and I put it out on a branch that the squirrel can't really balance on very easy. So I have set this thing up. I look at it, Len, the squirrel jumps over to the bird feeder and holds on to the bottom and just shakes the hell out of it with its own body weight to get it all on the ground.
They are amazing. They're amazing creatures. I had put chicken wire on my tomatoes. It didn't matter. They still got to them. They're so industrious. It's just, if they want something, they're going to get it.
Well, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos of raccoons. I mean, raccoons are the same. Just amazing what they can do. Of course, raccoons have that opposable thumb, so they're rocking. Everybody's like, guys, sandwiches. We're talking sandwiches.
Oh, that's right. We are talking about.
All right. So the one, though, that went up 350% last year.
Yeah. And this is by far, this is the biggest ever of any ingredient in 15 years. Turkey went up 350%. It's just, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I kept looking. I was like, am I missing something here? And I was looking at I was in the deli section there, and I was like, something was missing. I checked all of the prices. It was the cheapest one I had, $3.50. So that means the name brand turkeys were even more expensive. It's just unbelievable. And so I did a little research, and apparently the bird flu affected turkey this year significantly. So that is the reason why, at least as far as I can tell, that probably explains the huge increase. So I expect next year that'll come. We'll probably see a similar drop in the opposite direction because it's really an anomaly.
You know how you hear every year that around Thanksgiving, you hear the stat that, turkey has that, I think it's called tryptophan, which puts you to sleep, right?
Yeah.
It makes you sleep. So, it clearly, by the way, at Thanksgiving, it's not overeating at all that makes you sleep. I just want to be clear. It's got to be the tryptophan, not the fact that I had 14 things of that green bean casserole with all the onion stuff on top. I'm just usually scraping the onion stuff and feeding it right into my mouth, and then nobody else wants to eat it. I claim it as my own. But that number does not put me to sleep, was the point. No, 350.
It gets your attention. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see next year. I'm sure that number is going to come just as big a move in the opposite direction.
All right, we know the fight is at the bottom between bologna and peanut butter and jelly. We have not talked about the top end, so let's just go to the sandwiches, and let's do the 10 most expensive sandwiches, all right? So we will start with number 6 on the list and work our way down to the most expensive, which will be number 10, the most expensive. So number 6 on the list is...
And this is kind of interesting. After we just talked about a 350% increase in the price of turkey. Turkey it's all relative, right? It still came in at number 6. Despite the turkey and Swiss, despite that 350% increase.
Last year, it says here, Len, it was 4th cheapest.
Correct. It was
so it went from 4th cheapest to 6th. So it made a big.
It went up 92% this year, thanks to that 350% increase in the price of turkey. These turkey sandwich almost doubled, and it still came in 6th.
Turkey, Swiss, mayonnaise, and wheat bread,
and mayo. Yes.
7th on the list, the 4th most expensive sandwich.
The 4th most is the ham and Swiss, believe it or not. And the price of it went up 22%. Real quick, before we talk about what you just mentioned, the ingredients, because this comes up every year too. It's like when I build these sandwiches, I build them with so much mayo, whether they have mayo, they have mustard, how many servings of each is listed here in my breakdown. And it's the same every year. And I hear it, but that's not how I make a turkey sandwich. That's not how I make it. You know what? It doesn't matter how you make it. You can make it however you want to make it. But for the purposes of pricing, I had to come to some standard and I made it. Consistency. And for example, if you put tomato on your turkey sandwich, you can build it yourself from all my ingredients and you can figure out what it costs, But yeah, please, no more emails on how you make a sandwich versus how I make a sandwich.
If you're analytical enough to be bitching about Len's sandwich survey, then go build your own.
That's lots of people.
Len's go build your own.
Joe. I get the same thing with the strawberry jam. Who makes a bologna? Who makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with strawberry jam? It's grape jelly.
So gross.
Whatever. Yeah. So
right. I'm the one person, by the way, whenever my son comes home, we go to Waffle House and I just love a greasy Waffle House breakfast. But I feel like, they always say, do you want jelly with that? And I always go with my toast and I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, what kind? And I look at her like, what?
Is there?
Do I care? Like, do I? No, I'm on the opposite end. I'm like, really? As if I.
You don't care.
But then seriously, to your point, Len, then she looks at me like, who are you that you don't care? And then I feel like I'm deficient in some way, that I don't care enough whether I get mixed berry, mixing the two, or I get my strawberry or my grape. Like, my boysenberry.
Denny's hates me because when I go there, I end up eating 3 or 4 of the jellies packets that are right there that they leave on the table there before, whether I'm eating a hamburger or whatever I'm getting from there. They can count on 3 or 4 jelly things being eaten by me.
Eaten, or if you're there for a hamburger, do you mean mysteriously gone?
Yes,
which means it just made its way to your pocket.
No, I open them up and suck the jelly right out of those little things.
Len calls the jelly by itself an appetizer.
It's delicious.
What's that hamburger helper quote? The one from Vacation, right? Where he's like, don't know why they call it hamburger helper because it works fine on its own. Like,
yeah.
Len's like, who needs peanut butter and bread when you can just suck the jelly?
But we digress again.
We did again. The third most expensive. And by the way, ham and Swiss, just to finish this off, ham and Swiss obviously wasn't as dramatic this year. Swiss cheese stayed about the same. Of course, that's the same on both the turkey and Swiss and the ham and Swiss.
Yeah.
But that price of ham still more expensive than the price of turkey, even though turkey tripled.
Yes.
And yet in my head, Len, I think a turkey is a little bit more exotic, than ham. Ham is just
It's amazing. Turkey is a really cheap meat generally. I mean, how many meats can take a 350% price increase and still be, you get a sandwich for $1.38.
350. We take a 350% beating, and it still is better than ham. I can see the turkey. Hey, we're still beating ham. That's all I got to tell you.
Well, they got by 2 cents this year, so they better be careful.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if there is no bird flu. If that price goes down, or now that will it be sticky? You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right. The third most expensive sandwich.
This is one of my favorites. Is the roast beef and cheddar.
Heaven
came in $1.84. So now we're getting into the real pricey sandwiches here.
But big jump. The ham and cheese was a $1.40, so we just jumped 44 cents.
Yeah, but that being said, the price of the roast beef and cheddar this year came down 6%, and that was helped by the price of roast beef falling 17%.
Third in the category of biggest price drop, by the way, 6%. Third biggest price drop of any. It stays at number 8 though, because it kind of is a no man land. It's way more expensive than ham and Swiss, and way less expensive than the number 2 most expensive sandwich, which is
the tuna salad sandwich. Yes, the price, and again, this is like roast beef. The price actually fell 16%. So the cost per sandwich for the roast beef was $1.84. The cost of the tuna salad this year was $2.38, which was cheaper than last year. And tuna had been up until last year. It had been on a tear going up. Remember, the price pretty close to doubled over a 2-year period, I think. And this year it's worked its way back down a little bit. So I think last year it went up 84%. This year it's down 16%.
And the most expensive sandwich of all,
absolutely, this is my favorite. Matter of fact, I'm going to have this for dinner tonight, is the BLT.
Boy, but this
at
price,
$5.
It's getting up to $5.
Yes, 46% increase. This is the first time a sandwich has ever touched $5 in the survey. Before anybody gags on that, though, it's a great sandwich. I mean, it's a filling, it's healthy, very tasty, and this is something I've always compared it to the Big Mac. I've always looked at the a la carte price, the average a la carte price of a Big Mac from McDonald's, and it's always been well below the price of that. Well, this year I thought it might give the Big Mac, the average price, a run for its money. It's actually still at $5, 15 cents cheaper than a Big Mac, and a whole lot healthier for you too.
Let's go the other way. The 5th cheapest sandwich, which is just cheaper than turkey and Swiss.
Yeah, the egg salad. So there you go, Joe. The price fell 3% this year. It came in at 96. It's one of 5 sandwiches this year that you could make for under $1. And that number has stayed the same for the past 3 years as well. So for the last 3 years, believe it or not, despite the inflation, 5 sandwiches on the survey you can get for $1 or less.
I think for me, this is the big wow of the entire survey. All the talk this year about eggs and the price of eggs. And in your survey, the price of eggs went down. The price of an egg salad sandwich went down or up less than any other sandwich on this list but one.
Yeah, it's really ironic. It really is. I mean, all the memes you saw about know, eggs being so expensive.
We could have been talking about turkey. We could have been talking about bacon. We could have been talking about tomatoes. But we were talking about eggs. And to your point, eggs did nothing. All right.
They didn't.
Top 4. 4th cheapest sandwich was?
The American cheese, or the grilled cheese, however you want to look at it. The price actually went up 24%, but still, it's one of the perennial cheap sandwiches as well. So that 87 cents this year.
In the big scheme of things, going up 24% this year, not a huge deal because, we talked about turkey and Swiss up 92%, BLT's up 46%. However, it was 3rd last year but it was its move up coupled with the number 3 sandwiches move down. Number 3 sandwich down 50%. The price of the sandwich cut in half. It was
salami, and it moved from number 7, so a big mover. Number 3 came up from 7 to moved up 4 spots. 80 cents this year for a salami sandwich. Back in its rightful place of where it was when I first started this survey, the first 3 or 4 years, it was right up there, top 3 usually. And then it fell out to the bottom, and now it's back. Looks like it's making a move back up into the top 3.
Man, it's got a long way to go because
it sure does.
The last 2 are a penny apart. We previewed this earlier. We've got PB&J and Baloney. If you were listening closely, I think you already know the winner, but let's build a bunch of excitement here. Number 2, last year's number 1 is
the PB&J. So the PB&J had climbed to the top. It dethroned Bologna, and it fell back this year by only a penny, but it fell back. 48 cents for a sandwich. 48 cents.
1 of 2 sandwiches less than 50 cents to make.
Correct.
And number 1, reclaiming the crown.
The king of sandwiches, the bologna sandwich. Just to give you an idea of how dominant usually bologna is, in 15 years, it has been number 1 or tied for number 1 13 times. Only twice has it been completely out of the top position. Last year was one of them, and it's right back where it started from again. So bologna's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Bologna is back. There's the headline. Bologna's back.
Hey, if I can give just, how does this all relate to inflation? We've talked about, food inflation over the past year or two. So let me give you some numbers based on just on a sandwich. So in 2010, the average price of all 10 sandwiches on my list, I add up all the prices, divide by 10, it was 84 cents. That was in 2010.
Can we go actually back one more year? Because I know you started this in 29, and it looks like it's 86 or 87
It was 80. Yeah, it was like
then?
80. It was 86 cents in 09. So in the second year that the price fell, it went to 84 cents. So now we are at $1.56. So basically, we've almost doubled the price. Compared to last year, that's 9% higher than last year. So over 2 years, it's 38% higher. And since 2018, it's 64% higher. So since 2018, the price of the sandwich is up 64%, the average price of the 10 sandwiches.
But it's interesting, though, Len, because, and I'm glad you brought this up, because I think this is another big point, is that when we talk about inflation, this 3%, 4% inflation number, not a straight line. When we were sitting in 2018, inflation on a sandwich really didn't look like it was a lot. Prices had come back down. And so you're still sitting at 94, 95 cents in 2018?
Yeah. And prices, it's funny how if you can come to the article and you can see all the graphs and how it's all laid out. But the prices kind of went up and down until 2014. And then starting in 2014, the prices just kept falling. It peaked at $1.20 in 2014. Prices fell to, like you said, 96 cents in 2018, and they've been going up ever since. So, but they've really started climbing in 2021. So,
boy, yeah, looking at the pandemic, second half of the pandemic, there, you just look at boom.
Yep.
But what's interesting to me about this is that, they say if you use 4% as your inflation number, has been a good long-term inflation number people have used. Use the rule of 72. And so 4 divided into 72, 18 years you've got there. So about roughly every 18 years, prices doubled. So, as a rule of thumb, we say the prices double every 18 years. And it looked from your survey like it was going to be way off a few years ago, Len. And now in 2023, we're at 14
tracking.
Years.
Yeah, we're tracking.
And if it levels off a little bit again, which after periods of high inflation, you sometimes get periods of level off, we could be right on 18 years, the price of a sandwich being double.
Yep. That's the beauty of having a survey over such a long period of time. I mean, it smooths out the ups and downs over time. So it's nice to see such a long time period here. You can start to see things as they really are in the long term, as opposed to these short-term fluctuations that don't really tell you anything. So like the price of turkey, you can't make a judgment on the price of turkey because the price of turkey went up 350% this year. You need that lots of data over a long time frame to really analyze it properly.
It is truly starting to come into its own. Len, this is not the only quirky thing that you do at lenpenzo.com. You are always up to something. What else is coming up?
Oh, you know what? It's just the usual stuff, Joe. I just stop on by. I do all kinds of things. I do taste test challenges where I take my family and we do blind taste tests versus national brands versus store brands. And those are always surprising results as well. Well, almost always. So those are interesting. I just do the offbeat stuff at Len Penzo. It's not your traditional, normal personal finance blog. So it's kind of offbeat, but I just try to make it a little different.
You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a lot of fun, and you get to get Len Penzo's amazing writing. Len, thanks for sharing the survey with us again this year, my friend. And by the way, we'll have a link if you want to look at the whole thing on our show notes page at stackingbenjamins.com. You can actually read the thing without our squirrel commentary, which we're not going to charge anybody extra for. Thanks for hanging out, Len.
Thanks all.
This is Erin from Colorado Springs, and when I'm not teaching 3 boys how to patch hockey stick holes in drywall, I'm stacking Benjamins.
Hey, let's throw out the Haven Lifeline and tackle some of life's greatest questions. Our friends at Haven Life Insurance Agency, Doug, they put what you value first.
Good barber. Good barber. I got a good barber. Got a good small town barber. But I just got a cut and he got a little aggressive.
Oh.
He got a little, I think, it's good conversation. He's a fan of the show. And we're having this great conversation. And I just didn't really realize that he's
going to hear this. And the last thing I want is somebody with a sharp object that could be aimed at my neck.
Near your star's
or
head.
The back of my head.
No, he's a great dude. I don't even think he has a last name, though. He's just Don the Barber. Like, I think his last name is THABARBER. That's how he is in my phone. It's just the Barber. And he's a great guy, and I love talking to him. And I worked for like years to get some longer hair because you need to do that if you're going to get the comb over that I'm trying to achieve. And he years of work gone.
You know what's bad, OG, is when Doug's talking about how different his hair is. Did you even notice?
No.
I had no idea.
No, I didn't really.
God. No, that's what's wrong with this marriage. You don't notice the little things.
It looks drastically different, Doug. It looks drastically different than before. What you value first is your loved ones and your time with great hair, apparently. It's why they made buying quality term life insurance actually simple at Haven Life. You go to stackingbenjamins.com/Haven now, and you'll get a free quote. At Haven Life, they're offering insurance the modern way. It's very quick. OG, you and I have complained before that, in the old days, it would take forever to go through these life insurance applications. Now it's all smooth. It's all online. No waiting several weeks for a decision. Super customer support. And their company's backed by Mass Mutual, more than 160-year-old insurer. So you know they've seen whatever you're working on before. Today, let's go ahead and throw out the lifeline. Say hello, lucky caller.
Hey, Joe and OG and Doug. This is Joanne from Las Vegas. Yes, you can hear from my accent that I'm not originally from Las Vegas. And no, this is not Doug doing an amazing impression of a British female.
Love her.
My question is a simple one. I always hear from OG and from other podcasts, not as good as this one, that money you need within the next 5 years should not be put in the stock market. It should be kept in a high yield savings account or similar easily accessible product. My question is, I already have money in the stock market, but I want to be able to use it next year. I have around $85,000 and I plan to buy a third investment property next year. So my question is, when your money is already in the stock market, but you want to use it within the next 5 years, do you take it out now or do you wait and hope that there hasn't been a crash when it's time to take it out? Thanks for all the great education and for all of the American cultural references. Look forward to hearing the answer.
Sorry, I gotta get rid of that voice out of my head. I'll go back to my normal voice.
Thank you, Joanne. That's fabulous. Thanks for calling in. And OG, this is a great question for a lot of people. So the goals change. Maybe you didn't think you were going to need the money in the next 5 years. And then suddenly an opportunity strikes for Joanne or for another stacker. Take it out now or wait and hope.
Ultimately, I think the litmus test is this. So if you have $80,000, you need $80,000 in 12 months from now. what's the most that the market could go down in the next 12 months? And you could see 20%, right? You could see 30% decline. So my question is that if your money's invested and you've got 80K and a year from now you go to take the money out and it's gone down to 50K, can you still do what you want to do with it? Or do you have to put that on hold now because your 80 is now 50? And probably what happens along the way, just from a behavioral standpoint, is it never sees 50. It goes from 80 to 79 to 78 to 76 to 74 to 68. And you go, oh, I got to take this money out. And then you take it out. And then, of course, the market rebounds and goes from 68 to back to 80, and you don't participate in that. So you've got a higher likelihood of the market going up over the next year, right? There's a 7 in 10 chance that that will happen. But there's a 3 in 10 chance that it goes down. And if your money goes down with it, are you okay with postponing that goal until you're back to where you need to be?
Because that's ultimately what's going to happen. If it goes to 50, you're just not going to do the project then.
Yeah, or you do a different type of project, or maybe the requisite, in her case, she says she wants to buy a rental property. Maybe the real estate market's gone down equally, so you're still making a similar down payment amount. Percentage wise or something on the deal. But from the standpoint of goal attainment, which is ultimately the only thing that anybody really cares about, right? We use measuring sticks along the way of, investment performance or, god awful fee structures or whatever it may be as just things that we can put against the wall and say, how am I doing? But really the only thing we care about is, can I accomplish a goal that I want to accomplish, right? We don't care if we get 9% a year or 8% a year, as long as you don't run out in retirement, or as long as the kids go to school without having any student loans or whatever you're working on. So if all you care about is goal attainment, or if that's your major focus, which I think is what it should be, then I don't know why you would put in jeopardy goal attainment for an extra little bit percent, especially in today's market, by the way, right? Because from a savings account standpoint, you're getting 4 or 5% interest anyway. So it's not like it's sitting in the bank doing nothing like 3 years ago where it literally was, earning 0% interest. Yeah. I mean, you're going to go make 5%. Go get a 1-year CD, go to deposit accounts. We talk about all the time, depositaccounts.com. You can put in, here's where I live and here's the time frame I'm looking for. Go find a CD at a local credit union. It's in your area, it's paying 5% interest. So you're going to go make some money. You're just not going to make 10%, or you're not going to make 30, or you're not going to lose 30, right? So if we look at it from the perspective of what am I trying to accomplish? If you've reached that goal, I don't know why you'd continue to put it at risk, unless it truly is something that you just don't, you're like, whatever happens, right? I don't care whether or not I buy a car next year or in 3 years. The market's good next year, I'll buy one. If it sucks, I'll let it sit, then that's fine.
Generally, it's safer to sell in an up market than to pray that that you get this big miraculous turnaround. So while a lot of people will go, well, I'm not moving it while the market's going up, because you can't predict the top. This is generally, barring anything happening between the time we record this and the time you hear it on Wednesday or after, certainly the market's had a very nice run. And so to lock in those gains, OG, I think toward a goal that's as short as hers is just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And then just don't Monday morning quarterback yourself, because if the market continues to tear up, and it very well might, I think you go, you know what? I made the best decision not knowing what the future was going to hold.
Yeah. Because goal attainment is the thing that matters.
It is the thing that matters. And I like that as your North Star, because you're right. That truly takes away all this guesswork, all this Vegas guess. Speaking of Joanne in Vegas and living in Vegas, this Vegas guesswork they do, the roulette wheel. Oh, what's the hottest thing? You don't got to do any of that.
Oh, I didn't think about that as an idea. 80 grand can get you a lot of blackjack time.
Yeah.
Joanne, we could turn into 160 right down the street from you.
I know. A 35-1 on roulette. You could turn it into like 5 million, 4 million.
Yeah. One spin. Just do it all at once. Be efficient with your time.
Let's put it this way, Joanne. Either way, the goal's taken care of. Either way. One, your goal is much bigger, or you no longer care. Like it is. Yeah,
I've seen, complete side note, Doug, I've seen something that they are adding another 0 to the roulette wheel, a 000.
I'm interested to know. Normally I would do this math in my head, but I'm focused on the show, so I won't do it. But I'm interested to know, what does that do to the probabilities for all of the rest of the spots? Does it do anything
Makes
significant?
them suckier.
Yeah. It
I
does.
think it probably has a huge effect.
It probably has a limited effect, but in aggregate, a gigantic effect.
Of tons and tons and tons of spins, because they're playing the we're spinning a lot game, and you're playing the we're spinning once game. It's small for you and huge for them.
Yeah. This won't surprise OG at all. Maybe not you either, Joe, because you know that I have relatively low risk tolerance. But the most money I ever won gambling, which I've done maybe 15 times in my life, we were in North Tahoe, and all I did was bet red or black all night long. And ended up winning like $700.
There you go. Foolproof strategy.
Couldn't have been simpler. Always kept my capital back and only bet what I was winning on each previous hand and or spin. And I was with my big brothers. And of course, you know what happened then at the end of the night. They both lost their shirts. So it was, Doug, you're buying dinner.
You're buying it.
Yeah. There goes all the winnings.
There it went. Joanne, thanks so much for the call and for the humor. And you know what? For being brave and calling in. We are sending you to Parade Around Vegas, a Stacking Benjamin's Greatest Money Show on Earth t-shirt. You think those Cirque du Soleil shirts are really cool? This one is suitable for framing or just wearing, and you get it for calling.
Can you imagine someone actually framed one of the Stacking Benjamin? You know, like they have the jerseys, like the Troy Aikman jersey that's signed like in the game room. And it's like there's just one Stacking Benjamin's t-shirt just hanging in a frame.
Well, Doug, this was you too.
We could give that away. That's
at Economy. Both years I was at Economy, and you were there the first year. We signed some t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're very well, OG, are some hanging
we could
in a
totally
rec room.
give that away as a...
If your kid's school is having one of those like golf benefit things where at the end you auction stuff off,
you're offering stuff off that from people you don't know.
Yeah, reach out to us. We'll sign all three of us will sign a t-shirt and we will, it's just out of the goodness of our hearts, we will donate it to your kid's school so that it can raise a bunch of great money.
And we just blew the budget for the next 4 months. Everybody make sure.
Mailing that shirt between the three of us.
Mailing that one shirt. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the question, Joanne. If you've got a question for us, stackingbenjamins.com/voicemail is where you go. That's stackingbenjamins.com/voicemail. Hey, coming up on the community calendar tonight, I will be on Instagram with a woman, OG, who restores furniture. She goes to garage sales, yard sales, and she fixes up furniture, flips it. She has 186,000 followers.
I thought you meant like she was really pissed. And when she just got really mad, she just like started flipping chairs over. Flipping the chairs.
No, we're not talking about the Doug version of flipping, right?
I do that all the time.
Doug flipped out when Len didn't bring the sandwiches. That was a sight to behold. But no, she makes a lot of money doing it. She also has a lot of fun, and there's a lot of creativity. We're going to talk to Adriana Camacho tonight on Instagram. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have some fun on Instagram this afternoon. If you want to find out all the places where we have social media and we chat with people like you, head to stackingbenjamins.com/welcome. And that's our welcome guide that has all of our channels. We'll be doing a live Friday roundtable here in the next few weeks on the Fireside app, which will also be simulcast on YouTube. We're excited to get back to some live shows on Fireside. All right. I think that is it for the community calendar, except this, much more important than flipping furniture, is what if you need to flip your strategy to something that actually works with your financial plan? And that's the reason you're here, is because you need better help in your corner. Well, OG and his team are taking clients. So if you're looking for better help, stackingbenjamins.com/OG. That is their calendar for you to begin to interface with OG's team to make better financial decisions here as we roar into the fall. I can't believe all the kids going back to school. It's crazy.
Yep.
Where did it go? stackingbenjamins.com/OG. All right. That's it for today, except this. A lot of takeaways. Doug, what are our top three?
Well, Joe, first, take some advice from Len Penzo. Want to save money? Try packing your own lunch for work. Sure, it's often more expensive than last year, but still less expensive than hitting up a restaurant. Second, maybe you need to pay attention to our headline. Clean up your credit and life gets a lot less expensive. What's even less expensive than that? Not needing credit at all. But the big lesson? Turns out, you don't have to demand Len pays for a trip to the Sizzler. He's upgrading the entire Len experience for all of us. He's taking us all to Benihana. Come on, guys. Let's watch that dude chew the onions, if you know what I mean. Thanks to Len for joining us today. You can find out more about all things sandwich survey at lenpenzo.com. We'll also include links in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. This show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2023, and is created by Joe Salcihai. Our producer is Karen Repine. This show was written by Lacey Langford, who's also the host of the Military Money Show, with help from me, Joe, and Doc G from the Earn and Invest podcast. Kevin Bailey helps us take a deeper dive into all the topics covered on each episode in our newsletter called The 201. You'll find the 411 on all things money at the 201. Just visit stackingbenjamins.com/201. Tina Eichenberg makes the video version of this show. Once we bottle up all this goodness, we ship it to our engineer, the amazing Steve Stewart. Steve helps the rest of our team sound nearly as good as I do right now. Want to chat with friends about the show later? Mom's friend Gertrude and Kate Yunkin are our social media coordinators, and Gertrude is the room mother in our Facebook group called The Basement. So, say hello when you see us posting online. To join all the basement fun with other stackers, type stackingbenjamins.com/basement. Not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.
By the way, I watched Your Honor, the final season. There's not going to be another season. Yeah. The ending is so freaking stupid.
Don't you hate it when it's going so well?
The ending of 1 is awesome. The ending of 2, I'll just tell you.
You mean season 2?
Season 2?
Yeah.
Is like a 5-minute montage of like just film instead of like culminating into this big dramatic event. You know, it's like it just shows like everybody going on in their direction of where they would be going next, as if they're like, oh crap, we only have 10 episodes. Oh shoot, nobody told us that. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's get some B-roll of you driving a car. Let's get some B-roll of you. You're going to be in the hospital. So let's you lay in the hospital. You have an evil laugh and look over the city. Let's do that. And you lay in the ditch because you're dead. You know, it's like, well, what?
It's like the end of Game of Thrones.
What? So,
yeah,
kind of a letdown.
I want to talk about this show right here. Let's listen.
2 days ago, a strike team assassinated President Udo. And yet, you cannot prove that we weren't involved. Doesn't that concern you?
No, sir. It terrifies me.
You need to manage this, Jack.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to tell him?
This corruption goes way higher than the CIA.
Hey, buddy.
Say welcome. I figured we could use the help.
Wish me luck. Good luck.
So they're getting the team back together for Jack Ryan's season 4. I have watched the first 3 episodes of this, and man, I hope that the end of this is not as bad as what you said about Your Honor, because I'm on this great roller coaster ride right now that is every bit as good as season 1, 2, and 3.
You sure you want to talk about this? Because I've watched it all, Joe, and I can ruin it for you. So are you sure you want to talk about this?
If it's
show?
not on the caliber of writing and whatnot of The Bachelor, then Doug is out.
I know. Just don't tell us like, oh, right after Jack Ryan dies. Like, don't spoil it. Just say whether you thought it was good or not, whether it was worth it.
Actually, I thought it was the third best of the 4 seasons.
Oh.
I thought 2 and 3 were much better. First season to me felt like a video game. It was fine, which
it just ended flat. It ended flat.
The first season
1. Yeah.
Yeah, just all in all, I thought it was slightly above average. It was
mid.
It brought me back. It was mid, so mid. It brought me back for season 2. Season 2 I thought was a major step up. Season 3 solid, probably on par with 2, and 4 I was disappointed in.
I have no recollection of 1, 2, or 3, so I just was like, all right, cool, another Jack Ryan.
Did you watch the whole thing, OG?
Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah, you finished it.
I will say, Mike November is a great character. He has some great lines. I like that guy. Do you know who that is? Mike November?
Is that the guy who's been in every season who comes back and helps out?
He's kind of... He's a little shorter. He's bald.
He was in House of Cards. The guy from House of Cards.
House of Cards. He was Doug. No, he wasn't Doug. But you're right. He was in House of Cards.
He was Doug.
Was he Doug in House of Cards?
He was Doug in House of Cards.
I think him as the, he did a quick little bit in Law Abiding Citizen, where, which is probably one of my favorite movies. It's just so great. Such a whodunit flick. But anyways, when they're talking about the main character, he plays the spook CIA guy in that too, where he's like explaining, this guy's background. He's got the ball cap on. They meet in a dark alley, which that's the only place apparently CIA.
Hey, can we talk about the Americans?
Why do we want to talk about the Americans?
Because it's that.
Doug just tried to complete the bingo board for everybody.
Yes.
Hey, I do have one more thing I want to talk about here in the after show before we say goodbye to everybody, which is you said that on Monday I made a mistake when Stephen was here about our new writer, Lisa Curry, who's out on tour and when she's going to be in Ann Arbor. I wanted to fix that.
The other thing you need to fix is the adjectives you used around the word Ann Arbor, around the city name Ann Arbor. You got to fix that too.
Stinky, horrible, gross. I forgot to include those adjectives.
I thought you were going.
Yeah. So Lisa's going to be there next week. If you live anywhere near Ann Arbor, we'll be sending you an email if you get the 201.
She's headlining on Friday and Saturday. And what is that? I think that is like 2 days from now, right? The 11th and 12th. She's headlining a comedy event.
She's headlining this weekend. So if it's not sold out, go grab your tickets to see Lisa live.